everybody. What can you say but wow?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was
what
scary.
A tense ball game. And I felt like the key of the game was the Ayuk catch. If
Yeah, that
that
was
ball
huge.
got picked off, I think we have a different outcome today. We're not sitting here enjoying this one and celebrating a 34-31 victory. I was just one play away from nailing it. 4th and 2, the Lions score the touchdown to make it 34-31. I said 34-24 Niners. If that ball had fallen incomplete, Niners would have run out the clock, and we would have had but who cares? They won the game. Doesn't matter.
The game.
I care less if they won it, 1-0, even though that's an impossible score in football. I don't care. They're going to the Super Bowl, and, at halftime, I don't know about you guys, I was fuming at the play calling of both Wilkes and Shanahan.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, every time they rushed 5, something good happened. And then every time they rushed 4, 3rd and 18 was the worst call I had seen. They had been rushing 5 at times, and they did this soft zone. And the worst part about it is there wasn't even anybody up near the line of scrimmage that looked like they might fake a blitz.
There was no creativity in the first half at all from either side of the ball. There was just no creativity at all.
You go back and watch that 3rd and 18 play. They were 12. The linebackers were 10 to 12 yards off the line of scrimmage. So Goff knew it was 4-man, and he knew he would have all the time in the world to, pick his man. Unbelievable.
The Lions set the tone early. They set the tone early by running the football and pounding the rock.
Gibbs looked unstoppable.
Montgomery was having a great game.
Mm-hmm.
The Lions were just playing bully ball, and Steve Wilkes and the Niners just couldn't counter it. I was screaming at my TV to run a five-man defensive front. You have to match up evenly. It's 5-on-4, 6-on-4 at sometimes. Yeah. They would bring in that extra offensive lineman, and there would be no adjustment, no creativity. And 3rd and 5 and less, they would just play back. They would play soft zone coverage, like 7 yards off the ball. It's just like an easy out route, easy in route. The Lions have good yak guys. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Laporta, Gibbs, Montgomery. Those guys can run after the catch.
Reynolds dropped 2 big balls today,
Reynolds
too.
Scold. But in the first half was
it was all Detroit.
It was as worse of the first half in an NFC Championship game that I've seen.
Okay, here's the question: Does it prove the doubters wrong that Purdy could bring the team back?
I think so. Surely does. Yeah. That's 2 weeks in a row.
That's 2 in a row in the playoffs. In the
playoffs, the thing is he wasn't too impressive in the first half at all. I think the main thing was just creativity from both sides of the ball, offense and defense.
What do you think about those system runs that Purdy?
Exactly what I was going to get to.
Runs.
That is one of the most underrated attributes that Purdy has. He has that escapability. He's in like the top 90 percentile in his 10-yard split or something I saw somewhere. He is quick. He's sneaky athletic.
Yes. By the way, guys, real quick.
Did you just say sneaky?
I did.
Opening line, Niners favored by 2. Right.
That's a pick'em. That's basically
it's going to turn into a pick'em game.
Yeah. It was just, the resiliency that they showed, though, that's the main thing. Because, that's 2 weeks in a row where Kyle Shanahan has been, what's the, 0-30 or something, whatever the record is.
It's gone to 2.5 now.
Yeah.
He was trailing at one point by 17.
Yeah.
For him to come back and win that game was just that's as impressive of a win as I've ever seen him pull off.
I tell you what, too, in both games, incredible. You had the deflection by the lineman for Lamar Jackson, who goes and catches it, which was incredible. And in this one, both of them didn't give up. Ball bounces off the face mask of the defender, and he grabs it. Unbelievable. I mean,
turnovers for the game were even, right? One fumble for the Lions and the one pick for Purdy, which really wasn't his fault because he got his hand got hit.
His hand got hit,
yeah. So, I think this was huge. I am, the Chiefs are starting to look really good. They're playing their best ball, but I'm feeling like everything's just feeling like this is the year
sort of falling into place
that Kyle gets all these demons off his back. They can't come from behind and win in games they're behind. And then he's lost to the Chiefs in a game they should have won, and he gets another crack back at the Chiefs. I don't know. Today was, let's look at the statistics here for Brock Purdy. He was 20 of 31, 267 yards, 8.6 average, 1 TD, 1 interception, took the 2 sacks late, which, gave him that field goal to take the lead. His quarterback rating was an 89, 20 of 31, as I mentioned. That's 64.5%, slightly under his season average of, roughly 67, 68% completion rate. But for a while, that first half was atrocious.
And he had 5 rushes for 48 yards. That's the one statistic that sticks out to me. He's not known for his rushing. I think this is probably his best rushing game as a Niner and as a pro. He was just that, and that's what you need from him. That's sort of I'm not going to compare him to Mahomes, but that was sort of a Mahomes-esque like escape for both of those. The one where he hits Juszczyk with the toe tap, and then the last like 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 6 where he gains like 20 yards. That's when you need his pocket awareness and movement and escapability to be able to escape out of the pocket. And that's something that they didn't have last time they went to the Super Bowl with Jimmy. He was a statue, and that's not something they've had in a long time. And I mean, it was just, that was a great game. The statistics, if you're just a box score watcher, you're gonna see the box score and be like, oh, Purdy had an all right game. But I mean,
send Los the link.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now. I just saw.
I don't know why. Every time I send it to him, he doesn't get it. I don't.
I mean, that was as good of a second half as he's played. That second half was on point. The offense was in rhythm. CMC got going. Ayuk got going. Debo got going, and you could sort of feel that momentum change really right out of the half. They got the play action over the middle crosser to Debo, and then he's sort of in that hurry up mode. He's like, "Let's go, guys." He's a momentum changer. And I mean, it was just a great game.
Who's taking shots? Somebody said who's taking
shots?
No
one was taking any shots yet.
Somebody said bounce somebody.
Yeah. It's already been taken care of.
No who was taking shots?
No, it was this Cat V. This is what he said. It was nothing too outrageous.
Oh, is he the one that's on Larry's show that tells that's on me?
Don't know.
I think so. Yeah. I think he's been bounced from here. If he's he is the same guy. Maybe. I don't know. Don't know what he's in here for. If he doesn't like us, whatever. I can take it. Nothing's gonna get me down today, man. That was just a tale of 2 different football teams, different halves. The fumble by Gibbs was critical. Had the Niners not been able to hold them there, and Detroit went down and even got a field goal, would have put momentum back in their favor. But the Niners had got a field goal, got a touchdown to bring it within one score, and then they fumble on the first or second play of their next drive.
Sean Gibson.
And you could see when all that stuff was going on and they were showing sideline shots of the Lions, you could tell that the Lions were all of a sudden lost their confidence.
Yep. And then the next possession with the third down, it was the wide open. Was that Josh Reynolds again? And he just drops it.
It right in his stomach. Yeah. Right in his stomach, and he just dropped it. Yep.
Yeah, there's pressure. There is a thing as such as pressure, man. Mm-hmm. I know when I played in pressure games, my stomach had just these knots in it because you're just not playing with, you're just so much tension. And, the best of the best are the guys that can take that pressure and make it a strength for them. They thrive on it. I thrived on pressure in certain situations in sports that I was better in. The ones that I was kind of, so it just I didn't feel like it was, me, but that was, again, I go back to the Ayuk catch. That was kind of like the momentum changer.
Yeah.
That was wow.
Did you hear him on the post game show?
Yeah, about the ladybug on his shoe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Man, I'll tell you though. I'm trying to think at the end of the game when they were running the ball to Mitchell, to run out the clock, basically to bring it down to 1 second. It was like, that was scary because I was like, especially first down. It was like, wait, where'd he go? I thought, all of a sudden he's down, and then all of a sudden he gains 2 or 3 more yards, and I thought the ball was loose.
That's exactly what I thought too. I thought they were going to get the ball.
I was like, oh no! Did it look like they were going to get the ball? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how about the onside kick? The onside kick was pretty close.
It was close. A yard. Yeah, it was close. Man, it's wow, a little close for comfort, but we'll take it. And before we get to Los, Robert says Goff talk.
Nope, good talk.
Goof talk earlier, Los. Keep up great goof talk. I don't know what that means.
Good talk earlier, Los.
Good talk. We were chatting.
Good talk earlier, Los. Oh, okay, good. Keep up the great work. Thanks, Robert. Thanks for the $5. Yeah, always autocorrect. Yeah. Los, before you got on, we talked about the play calling. The first half was downright miserable. To me, the worst call of the night was the 3rd and 18, having the linebackers 10 to 12 yards off the line of scrimmage, not even giving any indication that there might be a blitz. It was like, okay, we're going into prevent. And Goff knew he was pre-snap. He's like, oh, my 6-on-4 can give me pocket protection. And you know what? Chase Young was not only net zero tonight, he was a negative in my opinion. He could not set the edge.
Have you seen that Twitter clip of the Gibbs 20-yard touchdown run where Chase Young is jogging the whole way? He is just jogging, and at the end, at the 5-yard line, Gibbs just runs right past him.
Chase Young didn't. He was not. He's not setting the edge whatsoever.
He never.
And he wasn't. The edge. He didn't get any pressure. Zero.
So why is he still out there?
I guess they don't have it. I guess they think he's better than.
I would put anybody out there right now at this point. The film doesn't lie. The film doesn't lie. That's stubborn. Keep putting out a guy. I mean, they're taking out Jair Brown because he's inexperienced. You're going to watch that film back and look at Chase Young and go, "This is an NFC Championship, and that's your effort level." Yeah, we'll stick you back out in the Super Bowl.
How about Robert Beal? Some quickness.
I was looking for him, didn't see him.
You might need it against Mahomes.
You think? You think?
Well, give us your breakdown, Los. Give us your breakdown of the game.
I'm out of breath. Honestly, that's got to be one of the
nuttiest. You look like you're about to cry, Los.
that was one of the nuttiest, craziest, goofiest games I've watched in 40 plus years, for real. I guess the football gods are making up for 1983, 1990, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2021, 2022.
And we go all the way back to 1957, the last time the Lions won
the football gods are like, you know what, Niners, you've had a lot of bad luck your way in a lot of games, a lot of missed calls, a lot of bad breaks. We're going to give you back-to-back breaks in 2 straight games. Your opponent's going to outplay you, out-scheme you, out-coach you, but you're going to find a way to win somehow, some way. The Ayuk play obviously was a turnaround. That play was ridiculous. That got it to within 7, and then the fumble, and you could kind of see the Lions were starting to press. You could kind of see them starting to get tight in the booty, and just go, oh man, not again. This can't be happening. Yes, it is happening. Disgusting game plan to start the game. Just I don't want to come off negative like I did last week. They won the game. We're going to the Super Bowl, but you got to come out better. If you do this against Kansas City and Mahomes, you're going to be down 37-0 at halftime. It's just poor game planning. We said on the preview show, you have to blitz Goff. You have to get in his face. And they didn't. And they let him be comfortable. They let him run the ball. And the offensive game plan, when Shanahan kicked the field goal and didn't go for it on that first drive, I was like, oh my God, not again.
Dan Campbell would have gone for it. And
yes, he would.
Praise Dan Campbell for sort of selling the game for the Lions.
But you can look at it one way. I agree with you. You know,
I'm just ecstatic they escaped with another win. But what worries me is they are not playing good football right now.
It's the rush defense. It's the rush defense.
If it means that we have to get lucky to win a Super Bowl, then let's be lucky winning a Super Bowl.
The defensive line is not
showing well in the second half for sure.
They did play well in the second half.
Has not shown up. They played well the second half.
The secondary didn't show up. Fred Warner didn't show up. Dre Greenlaw got the shit knocked out of him by Laporta. I don't recognize this defense, guys. This is one of the top 5 defenses in the league. And people are going right through them. It doesn't matter. Run, pass, whatever. But they won the game. They won the game. That's all that matters.
The total statistics, first down, Lions had 28 to the Niners 23. Total plays, 72-76 in favor of the Lions. Total yards, pretty close. 442 Lions, 413 Niners. Niners had 11 drives to 10, which was the difference, maybe. And also looking at Dan Campbell's gambling, could have backfired. Left 6 points out there.
He did.
Lost by 3.
Niners also left 3 points on there.
What's that?
That's true.
Niners left 3 points at the Moody missed field goal.
Yeah, the Moody miss. Yeah, that was a good comeback by Moody to make the all makeable kicks. I was really frustrated with if I said to myself in this game, if they lose this game, if they win this game somehow and Moody misses a second kick, they're going to bring in Robbie Gould.
Yeah,
they'll bring in Gould for the Super Bowl. They will, they won't cut Moody because still bring him back.
They'll
next
place
year.
on IR or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they made a few adjustments at halftime.
That was the main thing, right? I mean, aside from the last
that's what
drive,
I'm talking about, Bor. Why do they have to wait until they get behind to make adjustments?
Exactly. That's the point. That's the problem,
why is it
right?
so hard to understand? Goff cannot deal with pressure. Why are you playing coverage? Why are you letting this guy be comfortable to start the game? That drives me effing insane.
This is perfect. Carlo $2 says, I'm here for the Los reaction.
Hell yeah, you're here for my reaction because I'm going to be real about it. I mean, yeah, I'm excited about the win, but it's like
every time they flushed Goff out of the pocket, he threw it away or was not able to pinpoint it.
He threw it all over the place.
Yep.
That's what they needed to do.
The thing that it doesn't concern me, but is a little irritating is relating to your point, Lois, is like, if you're going to come out and play like the way you did in the first quarter and even the first half, why does it take so long? Why does it take 2 quarters to make those adjustments? Do you really need like 15 to 20 minutes in the locker room to watch the film? I mean, you should be able to make adjustments from drive to drive. It should it should be another drive where you see something and then you make the adjustment. It shouldn't have to take a whole half to make adjustments. But I'm glad he did make the adjustments at halftime, because up until the last drive, the Niners in the second half were up 27-0. So the defense didn't allow points in the second half, basically. Which is good, because I mean, the Niners have invested so much money, so much draft capital, so much resources into that defense. It just, you shouldn't allow teams to score 20 points a game. I mean, I don't know if Steve Wilks is the long-term answer at defensive coordinator. I really don't. That first half was really frustrating and really eye-opening, because I mean, yep.
I wasn't crazy about Wilks' game plan at all, but these players have got to be held accountable. Fred Warner was a disaster in the first half. He could not get off blocks. And this kind of brings up my point that I talk about in sports in general, baseball, basketball, and football. And I think it's a little bit valid. When people get paid, I don't know, they all of a sudden, their production in many cases go down. Bosa is not the player he was. He played a pretty good game. Javon Hargrave, let's be real, guys. He
had a horrible game.
Javon Hargrave is a $20 million pass rusher. That is it. He cannot play the run. He got pushed back 5 to 7 yards. I went after halftime. I went back and watched a few plays. He can't play the run at all. Now, it very well could be that Green Bay and Detroit were the worst matchups for us, styles-wise. Styles make fights. Maybe Kansas City is, in a weird way, not as good at them.
Pacheco ain't going to be easy to bring down.
They have Pacheco.
They have the all-world quarterback, but they don't have the offensive lines that Detroit has.
Their interior.
Yeah, but they got Mahomes that'll take off.
No, if
I know.
Joe
Thuney hey, what did I say last night that Purdy needed to do more of? What did I say? What did he need to do on third downs, on big plays?
Extend the play.
Extend the effing play. He did it. He finally wasn't stubborn and just like, shit, nobody's open. Let me force it. No, if he saw a crease, run. Get that damn first down. That, to me, was the difference in the game. Is Purdy
that was yep, exactly.
He finally took off. And again, I'm not saying you need to be Lamar. You need to even be Mahomes. But on third down, on these big games, you've got to get a first down any way possible.
If you see it and it's open,
not Ryan
you
Leaf,
take it.
Man. He has mobility. Use it. And he got down. Excellent. Love that about him.
If you see the opening, you take that opening. It doesn't matter if somebody else is open, because that third down line, that's where you need to go. You don't need to get an extended. You just need to get that first down, and that's what he did. Speaking on the Chiefs, though, if Joe Thuney comes back, I'm a little scared of that running game, because their 3 offensive linemen in the middle with Joe Thuney is Joe Thuney, Creed Humphrey, and Trey Smith, I think. That is a lethal interior offensive lineman. Those are the 3 of the best interior offensive linemen in the league, and that scares me a little. But I mean,
what sucks is Farrell is hurt and not coming back.
Farrell's your edge setter. He's your run defending.
If Farrell was healthy, I really would bench Chase Young. I would.
I mean, Chase. I don't think Chase Young started when Farrell was healthy.
I mean,
Chase
how
Young
much
was
do
the
you
third
need?
down pass.
Chase Young made one good play tonight. One. But I saw the play you saw, Bora, and I was like, man, you are jogging and not hustling in an NFC championship.
The Gibbs run.
Yeah. And
that's
Gibson
so bad.
Gibson did not have a good game coming up for run support. He got shook out of his boots.
He got that fumble though.
Jair Brown made some plays. He got back on that one deep ball. He got back and disrupted that a little bit. So I don't know if Logan Ryan could have did that. Man, they escaped again for the second straight week. I'll take it. We'll all take it. But they got a lot to clean up before they play KC. That soft zone is not working, man. Mahomes is going to pick that apart.
No, you have to play press man, especially with these receivers for the Chiefs. They're not that good. I mean, Rashee Rice.
They have one guy. They have two guys. Rice and Kelsey. Yeah, Rice and Kelsey. How Kelsey gets 11 to 12 catches when he's the main guy, I have no idea, but he does.
Well, this is the one matchup that I kind of wanted because of what you're just talking about, their lack of, weapons. And the one thing, I know Mahomes is Mahomes and he can beat you with his arm and his legs, but the Niners had them contained in Super Bowl in 2019 season. They had Mahomes contained until the end of, late in the game. Lamar's the Niners do not do well against super mobile quarterbacks. Heck, even PJ Walker of the Browns was able to beat them this year.
They don't even have to be mobile. They just have to be able to extend plays. I mean, you saw it with Jordan Love in the first half of the
But I mean, guys that are really, really quick and extend plays. Mahomes, you're just going to have to you're going to have to do a lot. It's hard to rush on him with four guys because they protect the gaps. But I don't know what this defensive line, to me, it's overhyped, overpaid.
Yeah.
It's, Bosa, Chase Young, Hargrave,
Armstead.
All four guys are, making 18 plus million a year.
Yep.
And then it's just like they're not getting home.
They're all bull rushers, Dan. They're all the same. There's no speed. Their best pass rusher was in 19 when they had D Ford and they had a speed rusher. They have no speed rusher. Well, they do, but they won't play him. His name's Robert Beal. So they're going with a bunch of sumo wrestlers that try to overpower the offensive linemen. And when they face good offensive linemen like Detroit, like they're going to face in KC, their bull rushes don't work. They don't work. So the quarterback is going to be comfortable. And our secondary needs pressure in order to hold up because they can't cover very well. So
you want to answer that, Bora?
Yes, he has. He's paid me. I have received my $5. No, I'm not.
Right.
I'm
right.
not.
How many sacks did they get? How many sacks did they get? One.
Two Bosa sacks.
I thought for sure they were when they were up 10, they were going to get one more.
I'm not going to say I'm concerned with the Ambry Thomas injury, but what scares me is what's behind him. Because
good point.
I do not like Logan Ryan playing Nick. Did they play Logan Ryan or Oliver? They played.
They brought in Ryan. They brought in Ryan. They moved Lenore to the corner.
Yeah, exactly. I don't like that at all. And I mean that's a mismatch for any receiver who's going up against Logan Ryan because he is old and he is
active again.
Yep, Womack active.
Yeah, I think Thomas is going to be okay. He looked like he was running pretty well on the sideline. It's probably just a ankle that's maybe.
And you get 2 weeks. You get 2 weeks,
yeah.
Which is good.
The one that was concerning, but he looks okay, was McCaffrey landed on his helmet, which pushed the neck, and then you saw them massaging that bone. It looks like right there on the back of your neck.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably a stiff neck, I bet, for 4 or 5 days. He'll be okay. I mean,
again, you get 2 weeks, which is great.
McCaffrey was, to me, the stars showed up. Ayuk showed up. McCaffrey showed up when needed. Debo, when he got the ball, he made plays.
Debo played well.
Kittle,
when Kittle was targeted, he made plays.
Right.
And Kittle's block on that 20-yard McCaffrey run at the end, that was he two guys. Yeah, he blocked 2 guys. I mean, that was
he pancaked Hutchinson earlier.
Oh, and
that was awesome.
Hutchinson. Outstanding.
Yeah. No, that you had and Purdy showed up, and Huschek was there tonight. Huschek played a good game.
We've been calling.
He caught 2 passes. Yeah. He caught 2 passes.
We've been calling for Juice to get a few plays. One thing I definitely noticed and it's becoming a pattern. Remember after the Baltimore game, I think their linebacker said, "We got the blueprint on how to play the Niners," and their offense has been a little skittish since that game. They are putting a lot of guys to the middle of the field. They are taking away the middle of the field, and I didn't quite see the Niners adjust still to that. They're not throwing outside much. Remember the double moves I was asking for? Never saw it. Running back screen, I was asking for. Let the rush come in. Didn't see it.
We did see an end around and jet sweeps though.
I saw a few jet sweeps and they were ready for it. I didn't see the end around and the pass. I didn't see McCarthy try to do a pass. Didn't see it.
Nice to see Debo get the best of CJ Gardner.
Oh, did you see CJ Gardner waving goodbye to the fans earlier in the game?
I missed that.
They were up 17 and he was waving to the fans.
That typical bonehead, and then he had to go take a cheap shot.
Kansas City's
got penalized.
Kansas
City's defense tough.
Kansas City's D coordinator Spurrier, right?
No, not Spagnuolo.
Spagnuolo, that's right.
Steve Spagnuolo.
He's one of the best in the league. He's going to look at the film and he's going to see what the last 5 games teams have done, which is taking away the middle of the field. He's going to double up on that. So Shanahan has 2 weeks to figure it out. But man, Andy Reid has
Ayuk down over the top. Ayuk down the sideline will be open. You cannot guard Ayuk one-on-one.
Snead might be able to.
He didn't touch the ball much tonight.
Snead is one of the best corners in the game.
He is, but Ayuk has some of the best routes.
Did you see his route on that touchdown?
Yeah, I was sick.
I mean, Cam Sutton got toasted in this game.
The one comment I made to Mark Graves, we were watching, I says, that touchdown to Ayuk, that was the first touchdown, right, to make it in the second half?
Make it 17.
24-17.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I'd like to see a little bit more mustard on that pass. And it was a
little close.
It was like, he looked like he just kind of put it in there with this touch. And I'm like, man, put it in there a little harder so he doesn't have a chance to get it. That was close.
There was a play in the fourth quarter. Niners in the red zone, close to the goal line. Purdy drops back. He's going to Ayuk in the back of the end zone. The corner falls down. And instead of Ayuk stopping where nobody was, he kept running his route right to where there was coverage. And I thought that was weird. It's like, you have to recognize your defender fell down. If you just stop, there's nobody around you. But he kept running towards the back of the end zone, right to where a defender is. Purdy had to pull it, and it was an incomplete. One thing I think the Niners are great at is when their wide receivers do a route and then they go the other way. And I'm not seeing that too much. I'm seeing them be very basic. If they're going crossing, they stay with the crossing. If they're going on a curl route, it's a curl route. So again, the deviation and the game planning, like there was plays to be made. The out and up again, I think would have worked against Detroit. So, I have 2 weeks to figure it out. Reid is a mastermind, and if I have to call Reid versus Shanahan, it's Reid.
I'm taking Reid. I'm taking Reid.
Reid's it's not close. It's not close.
Yeah. That's the one thing that Travis Kelce. That's what makes Travis Kelce and Mahomes' rapport and relationship so special. Travis Kelce finds those soft spots in the zone. There will be an initial route, and if it's not open, Travis Kelce and Mahomes will work together to find that soft spot. Whatever the route concept is, it's just that's what he does, and that's what makes Travis Kelce so special, and that's what makes Travis Kelce so dangerous. You can have a route covered up, and you can have these concepts covered up perfectly, but when Mahomes is able to extend the play and get outside the pocket, these receivers for the Chiefs, they know how to game how to move around in space.
Moody and Lenore are 2 real good corners that I think if you ask them to press and play coverage, I think could do a real good job. I think the Niners really fall in love with their zone, but their zone is predicated on 4 getting home. And 4, and this is what we're talking about. 4 is not getting home. It's just not. So if 4 is not getting home, why are you continuing to play zone? You need to switch it up. You need to know what your strengths and weaknesses are as a defense. They're not able to get home with 4. That's what they would like to do. But in sports, when something is not working, you have to come off of it. And like Boris said, don't wait until halftime to come off of it. Because if you play that way against Kansas City, you're going to be down 30 to 33 to nothing, and there's not going to be any comeback. So figure out game plan. You got 2 weeks to figure it out, what you're doing well. Instead of looking at what the Chiefs are doing, look at what you are doing. Self-scout yourself. Look in the mirror and say, this is what we're doing good, and this is what we're doing bad. Right now, they're not getting to the quarterback. Bosa is the only guy that can give constant pressure. He's it. And one guy is just not enough. Hargrave, man, I think Hargrave's not going to be with the team next year. I really don't.
I think they made like a couple outs in his contract. I don't know if it's for next year or the year after that. But going back to this Lions game, I thought Jared Goff played a decent game.
Yeah.
And I think that's just we learned something today. I think Purdy is better than Jared Goff. I think Purdy has that ability to extend the plays and sort of not necessarily put a team on his back, but be able to rally and come back from behind. Jared Goff can't do that. I mean, Jared Goff is a game manager. He is the guy that he is the point guard. His job is to find the open receiver and put it there.
And he's really good at doing that.
And he's really good at it. I mean, that's no knock on him. That's just who he is. I mean, he's just not that guy that can carry a team. I mean, that's I think right now with Jared Goff, this is the Lions' ceiling. I don't think they're going to be able to get to a Super Bowl. I don't know if they're going to be able to win an NFC Championship game because I just don't think Jared Goff is that guy who can be able to win that big game. He had a really nice season. He had a good playoff run, but at the end of the day, it's just you need the quarterback in these games, and I think today Purdy proved that he's at least that quarterback that you can win with, and that can help elevate your offense. He's not the weak link on the offense. It's he can elevate the offense.
Definitely think the difference. Both made plays with their arm. Purdy just made plays with his legs, and I've been calling for it. And go back and watch the game again. All of those scrambles he did were absolutely at crucial times, and that's what he can do that Goff cannot do.
Well, those plays they left the middle wide open for him.
Exactly. So you take what is the common sense thing in offensive
football? Take what the defense gives you.
Take what the defense gives you. Exactly. Oh, there goes that word again. Correct. Correct, right, Eric? Correct.
Exactly.
I told myself when I woke up this morning, I'm not going to say exactly. Damn it.
Well, real quick. Real quick. Just kidding.
Real quick.
Come on, man.
I'll tell you though.
Hey, I feel I'm ecstatic about the win, man.
I will give you a little pushback. I'll give you a little pushback though on Los. I don't see a world where the Niners are down 33-0 to the Chiefs, even if they come out and do a little bit of.
It's a little bit of an exaggeration.
Yeah, but I think the Niners have not put together a complete game since Philadelphia.
Even in Philadelphia, that wasn't a complete game because they got outgained and outplayed in the entire first quarter.
Yeah,
so the last complete game they played maybe was Jacksonville.
Maybe
Jacksonville, probably.
They have not been able to just. I mean, Kyle has. I believe human nature. I believe he's going to learn from some of his mistakes in the last Super Bowl. I mean, Kansas City's defense is scary. They did lose Omenihu today. I don't know if Omenihu is going to be back in 2 weeks.
What's that injury?
Yeah, because that's a key injury if he's not.
He's a really good player.
They miss him.
Hated losing him.
They miss because he's quick. The Niners have, like you said, Los. They're all bull rushers.
All bull rushers.
And
I take a Omenihu at $10 million over Hargrave for 20, right now.
Yeah, dang. Hey, you know what? I was ready to come on here tonight if the Niners continue to stink up in the second half and lose badly. I was going to say a few people are going to have to go.
Yeah, me too.
One of them was going to be Bosa. I was going to say, you know what? I don't care what he did. You need draft picks because this thing's going to spiral downhill quickly. Definitely Chase Young, you don't re-sign, but and Wilkes would have to go. Maybe he still does.
I still think he might go. If Mike Vrabel doesn't get a job and he's open to coming here, that I'd take that all day.
Oh yeah. What about Bill Belichick? Could he work in a world with Kyle and Kyle just defers to him?
I don't see that at all. Because I think Bill Belichick's gonna wait a year. He wants control. Him and Kyle are two guys that want control. I don't see them giving up any.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, guys, is Wilkes had to learn how to play the way the Niners play defense. Like Wilkes doesn't play like this. So let's say you do bring in another coordinator. What if this other coordinator, like Wilkes, likes to blitz, likes to be aggressive and send 5 or 6 guys and do a lot of a variety of things? And what if we have Nick Bosa say what he said earlier this year?
Maybe the issue
Nick Bosa's not the defensive coordinator.
Maybe the issue is Los.
We don't do that here. Well, maybe you should, man. I hated that comment. Like you're a player, play, dude.
Maybe the issue is Kasarik. Maybe his wide 9 has to go, and you go back to a traditional type of, because they are valuing Kasarik's wide 9 over what the defensive coordinator wants. That's what they brought in, a guy that did not typically run the 4-3 like that with the wide 9, and said, you adapt to our system, to our way of playing with our defensive line coach. I'm not impressed at all with this defensive line. It's
underwhelming for the entire year.
Yeah, there's huge holes that teams, and this was my number one fear about 8 weeks ago. If you go back and watch any of the Krug shows on Sunday, they said, who do you like? And I said, Detroit is the team that scares me the most in a matchup because of their offensive line against the 49ers defensive line. And the fact that they had 2 running backs that could, pound the ball. Gibbs can hit the edge. I mean, the Niners had, I don't know why Detroit just didn't keep going wide with Gibbs. They couldn't stop him.
It made no sense. It really didn't. They could not stop Gibbs, and they just went away from it.
The wide 9 works when you have 2 dominant edge rushers and maybe even a third coming off the bench. The Niners don't have that. They have 1 edge rusher. So this is, again, my point that always I bring up about coaching. If you have the personnel to run a certain way, like the Warriors with the motion offense, you got to have the shooters to be able to do that. That offense doesn't work if you have a bunch of clank 3-point shooters. The system has to work with your personnel. The wide 9 works great when you got a speed rusher like D Ford or Robert Beal if they play him on one side, Bosa on another, and maybe a Farrell or somebody else coming off the bench. They don't have that. So what do you do as a coaching staff? That's your job, is to adjust and go, you know what? We don't have 2 edge rushers. We need to play conventional, like Danny said, bring the edge rushers a little bit more in, and let's just play the run to set up the pass, because Kansas City runs a little bit more now than they used to. And Pacheco's fast. The game's going to be on turf in Vegas. So if I had to say who's a faster team, I think Kansas City might be a little bit faster of a team than the Niners. Niners are more of a, like I said, a power rushing, bull rushing team. But Dan, you pointed out that video, the first touchdown of Kansas City, right tackle's completely choking the defensive end.
Oh, jeez.
Nothing called. So guess what? We're going up against Kansas City and Taylor Swift again in 2 weeks. So get used to it, guys.
Against Bill Vinovich, the referee that was the referee in the last Super Bowl.
Even if the Niners do get in and they get held, it's not going to get called.
This is what my irritation is with the NFL. What does Major League Baseball do in the playoffs? They add 2 umpires down the left and right field lines because it's critical. Why not put another man in the defensive backfield on one side of the field, one on the other, and then another one behind the with the referee stand? The referee is responsible for holding calls and quarterback late hits. Why not put one on one side, one on the other, so that each tackle and guard is getting looked at, closely for holding? I mean, how do you miss a blatant call like the one I tweeted? The guy's arm was wrapped around his neck. And
how do you miss Purdy getting
hit in the head? That's what I'm talking about.
The guy,
there's one guy to make that call, and it's the referee behind the play. Put a second man back there. Heck, if it were me and I wanted my product to be flawless as possible and without any controversy, I'd stick 3 in the back there. I'd have one guy that's responsible for the right tackle and right guard. That's all he's focused on, those 2. One on the left, focus on the left tackle. The guy the one in the middle who's looking at the center and the quarterback for any late hits. That's all their responsibility should be. But they got one guy covering the whole offensive line looking for holding. And then you got the what's the guy in the center behind the linebackers? What's he, the field judge? Or the
something like that.
Back judge or whatever they're called. He's looking for holding as well from the front. But come on.
I saw
you can't put too many guys in the middle of the play, but you can put guys behind the play.
Yeah.
Right? And on the sidelines. I don't get the NFL having their most important games, and we all see it every year. We see the joke of no calls. It takes Dean Blandino or whoever the guy that comes in and says, Terry McCullough, oh yeah, that was a missed call. How embarrassing for the NFL to have a former referee be in the booth and say they missed that, they missed that, they missed that, they missed that. It's like enough is enough.
Yeah.
Jeez. And I don't care if it's my team or anything. When I'm watching an important game, just get the calls right. Yeah. Give me a break.
It'd be nice, but it's always going to be bad calls in big games.
It's uncalled for. It's not necessary. I mean, it's just not.
Eminem had a classic picture taken of him doing a double bird to Niner fans. Mm-hmm. He was in a sweep.
Yeah. Was really?
Classic. Yeah, it was funny as hell. Man.
Yeah, I sent that out. I think it was before the game because it was pretty light out when it happened.
There's a lot of Lions fans there, man. I respect their fan base, like traveling and being there, and I'm glad we got the win. But man, that's a crushing loss for them. Crushing. They really played well. But
we got CJ Gardner right here.
Yep, that's what I was saying.
Let me see here. Pull that one up. I just retweeted that. Hey, CJ, enjoy your flight back to Detroit, you loser. I can't stand that guy. I really can't. A guy that pops off and doesn't have to back it up. That's I said this earlier in the year, but I haven't seen one game this entire year where the defense has come out and rallied to the ball. I mean, when it's a run play, I mean, like 4 or 5 guys get in there and stop the run. And you didn't see it in the first half. But in the second half, after the Niners built some momentum and started to come back, I think the first drive after the Ayuk touchdown, it was 24-17, I think. Or it might have even been 24-24. The Lions had, I think they ran it on first down. 5 Niners got to the ball and for a gain of 0. I mean, that I hadn't seen that all year long. And that's the first time I saw that. So I think that's a positive. That's something you can take away, is that they have that in their bag. They're capable to do that. But you just got to see it all game long.
Eric, can you highlight Carcass's question, 49ers talk?
There you go.
So in my opinion, Carcass, we talked last night about Oren Burks, I thought was going to hurt and not play in the game. We were talking about Should the Niners go to a 5 defensive lineman or should they go to a 5 secondary? Well, Oren Burks played, and he was invisible. I didn't hear his name once on defense. If you notice at the start of the game, all 3 linebackers were basically 8 yards off the line of scrimmage. No wonder they got 4 to 6 yards every run. So how do you defend that? Well, to help, if you bring if you have that 5th extra player in the secondary, you take Burks off the field, put a safety up in the box. Jair's probably the most physical of their safeties. Put him in the box and let him kind of roam and see where the running back is going and make the play. Or go to 5 defensive linemen, because this 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers with that 3rd linebacker basically being worthless is not working. And and as long as Chase Young, this one killed me. 3rd and 12, Chase Young from the right defensive end rushes inside.
Oh my God, yes.
And leaves the whole side of the field open.
They got a first down on 3rd and 12.
3rd and 12.
I almost threw my remote control at my TV.
Well, you know what? If a coach if that happened in high school, you would get taken off the field immediately for not keeping,
outside containment.
Randy Gregory did the same thing earlier in the game.
Yep, he did the same thing. They were cracking down. The Niners, when they bunched up, when they brought either 5 linemen or had the linebackers up on short yardage or on first down a few plays, they were actually able to catch the Lions for losses in the backfield because they were, but when they went to that 4-3 with the, like you said, Lowe's with the linebackers 8-10 yards back, it was like easy pickings.
I couldn't believe how far they were back to start the game. I thought they would be closer up to the line of scrimmage and crowd it and make the lanes a little bit more difficult.
I was shocked.
I was shocked. Back. I was like, oh my God, what are they doing?
I mean, I always thought Warner, we've seen Warner in the past where he's up on the line of scrimmage and then he backs up into coverage and, he fools guy. We don't even hardly see that this year. I mean, you remember he would just go back and he would be all over the receiver or the tight end, whoever he was picking up, because he was able to get back quickly. And we're seeing Warner play in just this zone coverage. One play toward the end of the game, Greenlaw blitzed. I don't know if you guys remember it.
And he backed off a little bit.
Yeah, he came in and then he kind of backed off. It almost looked like,
it opened the lane up for Bosa. That was the sack, right?
Yeah. But they've got to do more.
They've got to stunt more, and they've got to get more creative.
Kansas City doesn't have. They got the one lineman numbers.
They have 3. They have 3 really.
But
good
one guy has the most penalties in the league. I can't remember what number.
Jawan Taylor. It's Jawan Taylor. It's one of the 2 tackles. Their tackles aren't that good. Their guards and centers are really good.
They won't.
He's at the watch. Yeah, most.
If there's a prop bet for offensive line penalties against Kansas City, I'm taking under 1. I'm taking the under. I think I'm going to throw everything I have in my savings account under 1. I will. They're not going to call nothing on Kansas City. After this show, I want to go in and watch the press conference because I haven't watched it. I can guarantee you when everybody in here watches it, nobody's going to.
I would have one question.
Shanahan. Nobody's going to challenge Shanahan, and if anybody does, he's just going to counter and say, "Hey, we won the game." And
I have a question.
That's dangerous because you're not admitting to what you're doing wrong. It's like you gotten away with it 2 straight weeks now. Like you're playing with fire. So either do something about it and acknowledge it, or keep, saying, "Hey, we won the game. Who cares?" Yeah.
One of the questions I would have for Shanahan and Bosa in a presser, and because I'm going to talk to Larry about it.
Yeah.
So that he'll ask it and get it into the national media, get it out there. Hey, Kyle, last Super Bowl, there was an obvious blown holding call against Nick Bosa by Eric Fisher, and the referee was Bill Vinovich. Are you going to say something to Vinovich before the game or Bosa and tell Vinovich, hey, look, this guy, kind of put it in his ear to him to be aware of it. Because, you do that all the time. Basketball players do it to refs, football players. You just do it. You just say, hey, I want that that narrative out there playing so that there is pressure on the NFL and Vinovich to know that this was an overlooked call that basically cost the Niners the Super Bowl, because that was 3rd and 15. That would have been 3rd and 25 had that play been called to hold. Instead, it changed the entire game, and the Chiefs went on a roll in 7 minutes, scored 3 times.
I know I picked the Chiefs last night, but I was really hoping the Ravens would win that game, because I just think the Niners would have got the Ravens like second time around going through.
Exactly, yeah. They've already gotten film on them. They played them once.
Mahomes owns the Niners. When he came here to Levi's, he put up 43 on them. I mean, we'll see what the game plan looks like in 2 weeks. But
for all the offensive numbers that the Chiefs haven't had this year, and Mahomes hasn't been Mahomes, all that chatter in the playoffs, he turns it up, and that whole team turns it up. So don't take any of these stats this year into account, because it's a completely different beast in the playoffs.
Hey, but you know what, Boro? At the end of the day, Baltimore held him to 17 points today.
They did. That's a historic defense, though. That Baltimore defense is historic.
So what if you're the Niners? Why don't you watch the film and see what Baltimore did? Because don't tell me that they don't have the personnel.
Oh, exactly, and they will, yeah.
They have.
But Reed also knows that they only scored 17 against Baltimore, so he's going to figure out
Ravens
ways
loss
to
is on Lamar. He didn't want to check down. He wanted to throw a ball downfield, and he didn't run as much, and he didn't check the ball down. So that's another. I wonder if the national media is going to get on Lamar Jackson like they do Brock Purdy.
Oh yeah, because Purdy gets so disrespected by all the national media.
Yeah, Lamar's going to probably be MVP. He can't do this. About him? Probably not.
No, exactly. The discourse is still going to be, Mahomes is going to beat Purdy.
I wish Purdy had said something when he was on that podium
Oh,
post-game.
he will if he's holding the Super Bowl trophy.
That's it. What time is Larry going on, Dan?
He's in the presser right now, and so whenever that finishes up, we'll be heading over to the Krug show, and we'll probably be 3,000 in the house tonight.
Probably.
The one thing that I just wish the Chiefs were 1 to 2 point favorites, because
yes,
man,
please. Because Mahomes earlier in the week admitted, yes, we felt disrespected because we are the reigning champions. We should be the favorites, and that chip can
I know
that can push a player.
I know. Niners
there's no reason the Niners should be favored in that game. Or shouldn't be.
Not the way the two teams, the directions they're going.
How about the pedigree that Kansas City has, their quarterback, and the way they've been playing lately? The Niners have 2 wins, but they've not played well. 8 quarters of playoff football, the Niners have played well, maybe 3.5 to 4 quarters. That's a fact.
They're gonna. It's 2.5. It started at 2. It quickly changed to 2.5.
I think next week when we get an idea of who's playing and who's not playing based on some of these injuries, I think it'll be a pick'em game.
Okay, here look at guys. It's now changed to 1.5. Money's going in on Kansas City.
Exactly.
There should be heavy money. If I wasn't a Niner fan, I would bet big on Kansas City.
I think we could see the Chiefs be favorites at the.
I think so. I think which would be great. I would personally love to see Kansas City, or at least to pick them. I don't want to see the Niners as the favorite with Patrick Mahomes.
Carcastle with another great point. I was saying that, driving me crazy during the game. They actually had Fred Warner trying to guard one of the quickest receivers in football. That's just stupid. That is so spot on. Fred Warner, as good as Fred Warner is, he can cover, most tight ends, can cover some running backs. He can't cover a shifty receiver like St. Brown. He can't.
There was a play late in the game. I think it might have been 4th down, and Gibbs went in motion, and Greenlaw followed him, and I was, oh crap, man on
Exactly,
man.
yeah. That was a great play by Will. That was a great play.
But then Greenlaw shifted. He didn't fall. It was a zone. He said it was
a zone, yeah.
It was a zone, but they flushed Goff out of the pocket to the right. That's the ball he missed down near the 10-yard line, right? Was that thrown to Jameson or to
it was whoever ran
Reynolds?
deep, but they were trying to do a mesh concept, a man beater.
Right.
And it wasn't man. So I mean it's just kind of bad luck.
But Gibbs was open when he crossed over, but Goff was way to the right.
Yeah.
Dan, I think you hit on something about the point spread, and kind of stay with me where I'm going with this. If you look at the Niners, not just this year, but in past years, I said it either last night or a few days ago. The Niners are a very arrogant team for not winning any championship. They really are kind of full of themselves. But when the Niners are disrespected or they're the underdogs against Philly, coming out against Jacksonville.
Well, they were the favorites against.
They were the favorites against Jacksonville, but everybody in the national media was saying, "Why are the Niners favored? Like Jacksonville's won 5 straight games, the Niners have lost, 2 out of 3 or whatever like that." When the narrative is that you're not that good, 49ers, they have a chip on their shoulder and they play ball. When they're the favorites and they're expected to win, they play like horse shit. So I hope the next 2 weeks. I hope everybody talks about Kansas City. I hope they say, hey, Jared Goff picked them apart. Mahomes is going to throw for 500 yards on them. I hope every national story is the Niners suck. They're lucky to be there. Mahomes is going to chew them up. I want the Niners pissed off because the Niners, when they are a little bit full of themselves, they're a pretty good team. They're not a great team.
I don't think they go into this game full of themselves at all, though, being that they lost to Kansas City in 19, and they want to event. I mean, there's a lot of guys, Debo, Bosa,
Trent. Kittle.
No, Trent wasn't on that team.
He wasn't on that team, but he deserves a ring.
Right. That was the last year of gosh, why am I forgetting his name? Staley. That was Joe Staley's last game. But you had Greenlaw, you had Warner, you had the Kittle. Ayuk wasn't Ayuk a
no?
Rookie? Ayuk wasn't on the team. Ayuk got drafted the next year, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you had
Debo
Ward playing for the Chiefs.
Right. Ward was with the Chiefs. Kittle.
That might. I'm not going to say that's going to be a huge play, but Ward knows the Kansas City system, and he knows Spagnuolo's defense. So that might play a little part. He might be able to give the Niners some insight.
And I'll tell you what, the Niners, after watching them more and more, I don't think their window is very long. I think it's a very short window.
It's this year and next year maybe, and that's it.
And I don't even know if it's next year because Green Bay's coming. Detroit's going to be back.
I think the Eagles are going to be back.
The Rams are going to be.
Detroit are going to learn from these games big time.
Yeah, and the Niners are going to be a year older in some very key positions, like
Juszczyk is going to be older. Kittle's going to be older. Trent Williams is going to be older. Debo's going to be a little older.
Football life is not older. Like basketball. You don't see, this isn't 20 years like LeBron James at all-star level at your skill positions. Your quarterback can play a long time in the NFL generally, but running backs generally don't last long. That's why I think McCaffrey is maybe got after this season, 1 to 2 more elite years. And then I think,
the good thing with McCaffrey is he can play receiver really well. So I think that's going to prolong his career a little longer. I mean, he's a receiving threat too. So he's not just going to be that
hits
rusher.
In the body, man.
After the Super Bowl, no matter what happens, we can definitely have a good chat about who we think, needs to go or, can maybe still have some value and get some draft picks back. Because you're right. They need to get some picks and they need to get younger.
I just don't know what happened to Bosa. Look at him last year, how he was just like sacking guys or nearly sacking guys. And you don't even see him, tonight.
I will say, though, this game, he had 2 sacks in this game. and he almost had a third. He beat Taylor Decker hard on that Josh Reynolds drop that they went for it on fourth down. He beat Taylor Decker like cleanly, and he just slipped on that grass. So I think
played a pretty good game.
I think
but
this game
no
was
inside
his best
pressure
game.
at all. I was shocked.
I really
this
thought
game was his best game in a long time.
So remember, we said the weakness of Detroit was the new guy playing offensive line. Was it the left guard or right guard?
He absolutely owned Hargrave.
Javon Hargrave is just a no-show, and so is Chase Young, and that's 50% of your D line right there. You want to know why the Niners are having trouble getting to the quarterback and run? Half of their line is just playing very substandard right now.
You need to have a 5-man front of Chase Young, Javon Kinlaw, Eric Armstead, Javon Hargrave, and Nick Bosa. That needs to be your 5-man front, because I'll tell you what, you are not getting home with 4 against the Chiefs.
Nope.
Their interior offensive line is good, and you know they're going to be chipping Bosa. So I mean,
do the Niners look to do any changes by bringing anybody in at this point as a, I first thought it, but he's been out of the game too long. He missed all of last year. I was thinking, shoot, if JJ Watt had just retired, had played last year, maybe he'd be in shape to show up.
Willis, maybe
Jordan Willis. Yeah, he's a guy
did Justin Houston play this year?
I don't know, but Jordan
I
Willis.
was surprised they didn't pick up Jordan Willis when he was released.
Because he's a speed rusher. He ran like a 4.4, I think, or 4.45, something.
He knows the defense. He knows his defense. Wasn't he didn't he make some key plays last year in the playoffs against Green Bay, Jordan Willis?
He blocked the punt that got him the tie game. That was on special teams.
Guy that seems like what the key is to the Niners is that speed rusher, like you mentioned, Los, the second one. I mean, when they had Omenihu, he was in on guys and it opened up the rest of the lane for other guys. They are all, like you said, bull rushers. Nobody's beating.
Bring that up on Larry's show about no speed on the. I guarantee you, Larry's going to say they need to get Robert Beal in there.
I would.
And the game is going to be on turf. The game is going to be in Vegas on the turf.
Beal it's grass. It's grass.
Oh, it's grass.
Mm-hmm. It's like the Cardinals Stadium where they.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
They bring the grass in. Yeah.
I was going to say that Beal would be even faster on that, but they have a guy on their roster that can beat that thing.
Yes, I would say Kansas
100%, 1,000%. The Kansas City defense is like.
Hey, Elijah Mitchell got a carry, and
he got a touchdown.
Did you see who? Yeah, did you see who they were giving the ball at the end of the game with?
Yeah, because Mitchell.
That I don't know if that might have been because they just didn't want to bring McCaffrey out there because of his neck.
Yeah, it was McCaffrey.
Well, Mitchell's really good about not fumbling, but I was still like,
he hasn't fumbled in his career.
Running the ball, like, oh please, not another 1990 fumble late in the game.
Oh, I know.
Oh, it was like
they were so worried about running those
championship games,
running those that clock down. How about Detroit going for the run at 3rd and goal and having to burn their timeout? That was kind of dumb.
If you're going to go for a run, you go on 1st or 2nd down. You don't go on 3rd down.
Well, yeah, because you hurry up and get back to they needed to have 3 timeouts so that
if the Niners didn't get a 1st down, then they would have had to punt.
Oh yeah, the Niners would have had to punt with 50 seconds still?
Something like that. No.
Yeah, they would have called 3 quick timeouts. There was a minute to go when they called the timeout on 3rd down.
John Lynch
after they ran it.
John Lynch has done a great job putting this roster together. The one error that he might have made, and when he did it, everybody was excited about it. But now looking back on it, he signed Hargrave thinking that Hargrave was going to be the one mega star to put next to Bosa, and that was going to change everything. But by giving Hargrave $20 million, you basically let go of Omenihu, Ebukam, and Jordan Willis. And you could have had those 3 guys for maybe about the same money or a little bit more. And that depth on the defensive line is showing right now, because with Farrell out, it's forcing Bosa to have to play all these snaps. It's forcing Chase Young, who we see is average to below average, to play a lot. Hargrave is not as effective as we thought. We thought, oh, he's going to be a hell of a pass rusher. I think he had 8 sacks this year, which is pretty good. But he's a liability against the run. So,
and he just didn't have a good game. Like maybe he'll have a bounce back game against the Chiefs.
But Bora, he had a bad game against like average guards. Like Kansas City doesn't have average guards. Their guards are really good. Exactly. So all of a sudden he's going to turn it on against better players. I was really disappointed.
I'll tell you the key to look for and hope for, because Chase Young's payday is on the line. if he doesn't show up in the Super Bowl, he's not getting the sack that he thinks he's going to get, because he hasn't showed up for weeks. He needs to be so motivated to I got to get a couple of sacks and look good, because the Niners aren't re-signing him.
Even if he has a good game in the Super Bowl, what team would say, let's see, you played 9 games with the Niners and you had 2 good games. Why would I give you I think Chase Young is going to end up getting a 1-year prove-it deal with some team. I think he's lost a lot of money.
He sure looks better.
In the last his Niner career, I think he's lost a lot of money. Not only because of his performance, but like Bora pointed out, his effort. It's one thing if you're not performing, but if you're given a poor effort, coaches and teams don't want that. So,
well, I thought the Niners got the wrong guy personally from Washington.
Yeah, they should have gotten Montez Sweat.
That's who I wanted, because when he went to Chicago, I said, Bears are going to get better. And I started taking their defense in fantasy football was getting to be good because of the sacks, and it was because of Sweat. And if you notice how well the Bears kind of played down the end, even though they weren't playing much for anything, their defense was one of the better defenses.
Who was the Niner that created the fumble? Was it Greenlaw?
No,
Gibson.
It was no. I thought it was Gibson. I thought it was one of the backers.
No, it was Gibson.
That was such a huge play. God, that was such.
Was it Gibson?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have
it? That momentum shift was just insane.
Oh, you could just feel it. What a game to be at. I gotta hit a baller, man. He must have no voice. I know
Sean Proctor was out there too, right?
Oh yeah, a bunch of people I know were out there. That was a hell of a game to be at.
That stadium got loud. I mean, that's one of the loudest I've ever heard. I mean, it got loud.
I mean, we're talking about the Niners kind of being lucky to be there, but honestly, Kansas City's kind of living with a little bit of luck on their side too. The Bills very easily could have beat them, missed a field goal and some bad clock management from McDermott, and Lamar didn't show up tonight at all.
4th Super Bowl for Kansas City in the last 5 years.
The NFL loves Pat Mahomes as the face of the league. They're not.
They want that whole Taylor Swift. How many kids are going to watch the stinking Super Bowl that could care less about football because of just sightings of Taylor Swift? What's the over/under, do you think, on Taylor Swift in the press box? I bet it's over 10.
There'll be a prop bet for that.
There will be, and I'm going to say it's going to be over 10.
Because the NFL loves it. The ratings are going to go even higher because he's going to be there.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
I have no problem with Taylor Swift, but I mean, focus on the game. No one cares about Taylor Swift on the sidelines in the suite. I mean, seriously, it's a nice story with Travis Kelce.
Football fans don't care, but non-football fans, like young teenage girls, will be watching. Oh, Taylor Swift. It's like I could. Geez. It's her and Jerry Jones. I'm surprised that they didn't set up the Super Bowl for the Cowboys and the Chiefs. It'd be like the press box would be shown more than the actual game. Eddie says, "Don't hate on Swift. Leave her alone." You know what? I've never liked. I'm not even a halftime football guy as far as the who's ever doing the halftime. Just give me the breakdown of the game during the first half. Give me, analysis, give me stats, give me football. But that's the NFL. It's become a, I don't know.
It's entertainment.
It's entertainment.
It's not a sport as much as it
it kind of bugs me.
You know, the one thing about Dan Campbell, I will say he made some bad decisions, but he's gonna live and die on his sword of being.
I still like him,
and I respect it. I respect it.
What do you guys think of this comment right there by Kyle?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was pointing to. I think Dan Campbell's still a good coach, but I think he still has to learn that there are spots where you don't need to set a tone or you don't need to be aggressive. You just got to get points. And he'll learn that. He'll learn that next year. I mean, he's a great leader of men. He's a great motivator. He's a great inspirer. I think he's a really good coach, but he has to learn that you just can't be aggressive on everything, and you can't go for it on every down. You gotta pick your spots, and in this game, he didn't pick his spots.
The Niners got the win, but I still think Detroit's coaching staff did a better job game planning and attacking the weakness of the other team. I do. Watch that game again and tell me I'm wrong. They did a good job attacking the Niners' weakness.
Yeah, this bugged me too. I was talking to Mark. I said, I don't get fans that go spend thousands of dollars to be at the game, and then they're more worried about their stinking getting their food, or maybe they're going to the restroom or whatever. But I've been to Niner games, and I don't like the setups of these stadiums where you got to go to the bathroom or whatever, and it's halftime and you can't get in and out of there. And the fact that fans don't show up for the first 5 minutes to start the third quarter, I'm like, this is why I love watching a game at home.
It's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah. I mean, you get all the food you want. You go to the bathroom you want. I ran to the bathroom because I was drinking like 3 of these every time out. I was heading.
You get to pause it and watch it again.
I don't even have to pause it. I can run.
But
it only
if
takes.
You want to at home. You can pause it and watch it again.
Go back and watch it. I was freaking out though because my internet, I was getting sound of the game, but my picture was freezing, so we had to reset the modem. I was like freaking out, like, gosh, what's going on? But the second half, once we reset the modem, it was flawless. Yeah, everything was bad the first half. I
don't know if you guys noticed this, but on that drive that made it 17, when the Niners were in the red zone, the score bug for Fox had Purdy, like whatever his numbers were, with a touchdown and an interception. He hadn't thrown a touchdown yet.
Interesting.
I took a video of it. I can try to pull it up. But I'm not going to say the NFL is scripted like that, but it was a little weird. Like, look at this. 24-10.
Huh.
With the touchdown and interception.
Interesting.
And then the throw to Ayuk came after that. Because the first touchdown.
What was the first touchdown? What was the first touchdown? McCaffrey? Okay. Yeah. Wow.
I gotta see this. I gotta see this press conference. I'm so curious to see these answers.
Yeah. Did he have any? Did he have any almost picks? I guess the one that Ayuk broke up. I mean, the one that hit his hand was. But did he have any other errant? I think the one to Ayuk, where Ayuk became the DB, was about the only close call, right?
I don't really call that a close call because that's a 50-50 ball in most.
Yeah, it's true. Games. But I mean, there wasn't any like drop. I don't recall.
Yeah, there weren't any like over the middle drops like there were in the Packers game. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Purdy ends up with what, 267? I thought he would hit for 300 yards. I was kind of surprised. If you count
the rushing, then he hit 300.
Yeah. I mean, his 3 runs were great because he was not just going for the first down. He was going for yards down the field. And you notice he did not slide on one of those. He dove.
Exactly, which is great.
Which is dangerous because if you fumble going forward, I think they might call it a fumble. Whereas if you slide, you give yourself up. That's it.
That's true. But I also love the mentality of.
But with those dives,
somebody's
gave him an extra. That's an extra 5 yards over a slide because they set you where your feet start to slide.
As long as you don't lose the ball.
Yeah, I mean, but his feet are quick, so quick.
Yeah, I've been saying that he needs to run more.
Now that he put that on film, he put that on film today. This was his best rushing game as a pro by far. The Kansas City defense is going to have to take into account his rushing game, which is going to open up a little more on that defense.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Dan. Those minutes. Dan is better than a lot of other people. Let me tell you.
Just that name alone, San Francisco Giants mania. Ugh. Yeah.
Man. Yeah. Love Purdy's ability to scramble. Been asking for it and begging for it. And he finally now it shows up on film. Now you're right, Bork. And whether he does that in the Super Bowl or not remains to be seen. But he needs to do more of that. The lanes are wide open. They're having to cover. And Kansas City is a man-to-man team. They don't play a lot of zone. So they're going to be running with all these weapons. There's going to be lanes. There's going to be lanes for sure.
Who's their corners besides Snead?
And
McDuffie's the nickel. And he is insane. He's an all-pro. I don't know who their other guy is though.
God, I can't believe they held Baltimore to 7 points. Woo!
What was the final in that game? 17-10?
17-10. 10. I'm sorry, 10 points. Still.
But did Baltimore? Let's talk about that for a little bit because Baltimore not only choked with the fumble by Flowers, but they self-destructed with their stupidity of, losing their cool. And then Flowers later, I think he smashed his hand and couldn't come back. Did he not come back? It was a mess.
Zay Flowers first, he got the taunting call. Then he fumbled it in the end zone. And then right after that, he smashed his hand against his helmet.
And then was he done? Did he? I don't remember.
No, I think he came back. He came back out.
Did he? The taunting play. What a
that was stupid.
You're down at the time. You were down by 2 scores. I can't remember what the score was, but what are you thinking? Just get up. Typical. Oh man, that just drives me crazy when guys just don't play. Just play ball. Okay, you made a catch on the guy. Now you're going to stand over him and taunt him when you know the rules. In a game like that, that's called selfishness. You got 53 men out there, plus all your guys on the practice squad that are giving everything they got, and you do something like that.
The number one topic is going to be on the national shows tomorrow is going to be like, did the 49ers win the game or did the Lions lose the game?
That's the one thing to see. It's like I hate to see the media not give the Niners credit and just completely discourage this win.
Most of them are going to say
all in on Dan Campbell's decisions and Jared Goff and the drops and everything.
Most are going to say the Lions lost the game. I'm telling you.
I mean, with the Niners, it was 24-7, and then it was 34-24. So the Niners scored 27 unanswered points.
I hated the defense when they were up 34-24 too.
I did too.
We talked about it last night. Prevent defense is just so overrated. Just play your normal
let them
defense.
Go right down the field so easily, man. Just no resistance.
Part of it is, I understand part of it when you're up by 10, not by 7, because you're trying to get Detroit to keep the clock moving. And if you get one big play over you, all of a sudden it's a quick touchdown like they did on the first drive of the game, with who got that first touchdown on a reverse? Williamson? Was that a reverse to Williamson?
Yeah, Jameson Williams. Yeah,
Williams. I mean, that
you know who doesn't coach that way? Spagnuolo.
Right.
You remember in the Super Bowl when Kansas City was starting to come back? Did Spagnuolo play off and play soft? He blitzed Garoppolo, shook him up, and they won the game that way. That's true. Spagnuolo. And nobody on Spagnuolo's defense is saying, "Hey, man, we only rush 4 and play the zone around here." Shut up, dude. Let the coaches game plan. You play.
We'll talk about this later in the Super Bowl preview or whenever we talk about that. But the key to the game, for me, is can you contain Chris Jones? Because the Niners struggle against big defensive tackles. That's the whole reason why they've been able to contain Aaron Donald. He's not that tall. Right. He's wide and he's strong, but he's not that tall. He's like 5'11", 6 foot.
Jones is a monster.
Chris Jones is a monster. He's like 6'5", 6'6". He's a defensive player of the year candidate every year. He is one of the best defenders in the league. And if you can't contain him, and if he's wrecking plays if he's a game wrecker, then you're going to have issues.
He's going to be going up against Feliciano probably, who's pretty physical. I like Feliciano's chances of at least competing more than Burford. But
Burford was on the bench.
Yeah, I didn't see Burford too much.
I didn't see him.
I thought McKivitz played a pretty decent game against Hutchinson. He made a few plays, but nothing.
Hey, let's be real here. McKivitz has been a better right tackle pass blocking than Mike McGlinchey
for $15 million less.
Yeah. They suffer a little bit with the run game on the right side. McGlinchey was pretty good at that. Man, I mean, I was surprised. Were you guys surprised that the Niners rarely ran McCaffrey over Williams and Banks? They went mostly to the right.
I was surprised Detroit stopped the run as well as they did. Like, they laid some hits on CMC. They were very.
I think
physical.
that was their plan. Their plan was to stop the run, and they did it for the majority of the game.
I like their game plan. I really like their game plan more, to be honest. Kansas City's just as good, if not a better defense than Detroit.
McCaffrey still ended up though with 90 yards rushing.
He was on the sideline kind of complaining about something. Was
his neck? He landed on his head. On that ball that when they ran it down the sideline and got it down to the 2-yard line.
Oh, he twisted his.
No, he landed right on his head, and I think this bone in the back. They were massaging the back of his neck, kind of. You know when you land on your head, it's compression. He's probably. My guess is that that whatever that bone is on the back of your neck.
I mean, he'll be. He's not missing this Super Bowl.
No,
I'll tell you that.
He's got 2 weeks.
He's gonna be fine. You know what? The thing that concerns me is the Niners knew that the Lions were going to try to run the ball. That's the Lions' identity. That's what they've done all season. That's what they were going to do. They still couldn't stop it. They had a week to prepare for that game, that running game, and they couldn't stop it. I mean, that's a little concerning.
What do you think? If that game was in Detroit, you think we're talking a different ending here?
Detroit wins by 14 or more.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
that momentum with the fans that helped a lot.
It did help a lot, and I don't know how it will be with the Super Bowl. I would think it would be a heavier Niner crowd. Niner faithful travels well, but it's getting your hands on tickets. I hate the way the NFL disperses tickets for the Super Bowl. It's all about corporate people who could give a crap about the game. They're there for,
the ticket should be like $500 max, and it's just first come, first serve. That's how it should be, because those are the real fans that care about their teams and care about the games, that are going to be loud and obnoxious.
Well, even at 1,000, those games, tickets are going to go for 10,000 plus.
Exactly.
I mean, today's games, I heard tickets were going for 8,000 to get in. on the open market.
We should go around and give grades for the Niners, kind of what Grant does, starting with the quarterback, running backs, the wide receiver, the O-line, the coaching, everything.
Yeah, let's do that, and then we'll probably wrap up because I think Larry's going to be going on here at 1:15.
So this will be a letter grade, not a number grade, a letter grade. Like,
all right. So
we're start cool, so he understands this.
Starting on the offense or defense here?
Yeah, let's start on offense. We'll go offensive line. What do you give the offensive line? I give him a B.
I'm going to give him B+. They only had 2 sacks.
Yeah.
They opened up holes at the end of the game when they needed to. The Niners were able to get, move the ball late in the game.
Okay, yeah. B.
What'd you give him, Bora?
I'm gonna give him an A, just because they contained Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden Hutchinson is 6'7". He's a beast. And they contained him. They were able to keep him in check. And I mean, they weren't able to rush the ball at will. But when they needed the O-line to step up, and the O-line stepped up.
You're an easy grader, man. I wish I had you as a teacher. Quarterback.
I'm gonna go A-.
I'll say B+.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a B+. There was no rain today, and he missed some throws. He was one particular throw. He had Jennings open on a big play over the middle, and he just sailed that ball.
I think he had to hurry it though, didn't he? Didn't he have no room to throw it, like to step into it? Because
and I didn't like Shanahan's game plan of like continuously keeping him in the pocket. Like, he's getting more and more balls batted down when you know where he is. Like, move him outside where he has a clear lane to throw.
You know why? Yeah, you know why I went A- instead of B+? Because of the runs.
Yeah, that's why he got a B+ for me. Definitely. What do you think, Bo?
Yeah, I'm gonna give him B+. I'm gonna give him B+ too. No, B+. Yeah, I just can't. The second half was great. The second half, it was an A+, but that first half was it wasn't
bad.
great. I mean, he had a 30. He had a 39. He had a 39 quarterback rating at halftime, which isn't great. But I mean, the second half he turned it on, but I just can't take that. I can't throw that first half out the window.
But Bora, he had he didn't do well at midterms, but student, he aced the final, right?
Okay, but this is it's the whole game. It's the whole semester.
No whole picture.
Yeah, but the final grade counts for the most. He got the W.
Yeah. Wide receivers.
I'm gonna say an A for wide receivers.
I'm gonna give that a B+. They caught everything I think that was catchable, but they didn't have.
There is some good yards.
They didn't have big racks. No big racks today.
I'm giving them a B. I was a little disappointed that especially Ayuk wasn't able to get open more.
Jennings made a beautiful catch. Ayuk made a beautiful catch. Debo had some good yards after catch.
How about the catch by?
I'm giving him a B. That's a pretty good grade. But
no, I'm giving him an A.
How about the catch by
Jennings?
The one-handed
catch. Yeah.
That extended because
how about the catch?
Down.
How about the throw? What about the throw?
Yeah.
The
lob.
It completely swivels around and throws it. I'm gonna give the wide receivers a B+. The weakness in the Lions defense was the pass defense.
Mm-hmm. As we thought it would be.
Right.
And I feel like they assessed that and they attacked that to an extent, but I still think they could have been a little more aggressive going deep. I think Cam Sutton I think Ayuk should have been able to route him up.
One time they went deep down the left sidelines, I was like, "Oh, look at this!" And I was like, "The cornerback was more the receiver than Ayuk."
He was running the route. Yeah.
That was strange.
Did this game though not? I mean, we're grading each area. Did it not play out just as it was scripted. It should have played out defense when we get to the defense, but I think we'll see, because we said the Detroit run was going to be good. The defensive line was going to have a tough time with Gibbs and Montgomery's explosiveness, and they're not going to probably get to Goff too much, and But
what's weird is that I thought the Niners would be able to move the ball on Detroit a lot easier than they did, especially passing the ball. But you look up and they got 34 points.
So we covered the whole offense, right?
Not tight end
or running back.
Oh, okay. Let's do quickly both. Running backs, I'm going to say with Juszczyk thrown in there, I would give it a B, but Juszczyk played a really good game, so I'm going to say B plus. And tight ends, I'm giving Kittle a B. Didn't have a big catch game, but he blocked well.
Yeah, I'll go B minus on tight ends. There was just not a lot of production, but his blocking was pretty solid. Running backs, McCaffrey didn't have a huge game, but he caught a lot of balls, made the plays when he needed to. It was a rough game, but he grinded out a lot of yards. So definitely a B plus.
Sure.
What you got, Bora?
I'm gonna give the Kittle a B plus. I mean, I have to see if he was open and they weren't targeting him, or if he wasn't able to get open, or if he was in the game plan at all. Because he got like 2 or 3 targets in the whole game. I think that has to. But his blocking was excellent. If he had a little more production in the pass game, he would have gotten an A. I'm gonna give McCaffrey an A though. Throughout the whole game, he was getting stuffed, but he has that grit and he has that determination. And he averaged 4.5 yards a carry at the end. And he never goes down. The first tackler never tackles him. He's always falling forward. And McCaffrey had some nice blitz pickups today. He picked up the blitz very nicely. So he gets an A.
How about, and before we get to the defense, let's bull rush this thing because we need to get through it. But how about Elijah Mitchell, 4 carries for 7 of the biggest yards he's ever got, because the touchdown obviously was the big run, but then those 3 carries to hold on to the ball and knock enough time off the clock and not go down. Like second down, it took him a while to get him down, I think, or one of the down. Maybe it was first. But anyway, that was a big play by Mitchell. So defense, let's start front to back. Let's start with the defensive line. Los.
D plus.
Bora.
C minus.
C minus.
D. They ran through him like there was like a sieve, man. It was just like so many openings. It was and only getting 2 sacks on Jared Goff, one of the least mobile quarterbacks.
I give him a C just because of Bosa, because he had a pretty good game.
Yeah, the rest didn't show up. Linebackers, Bora.
C plus, B minus.
Romo.
Sidekick. Yeah, sidekick. Get it right. C plus.
Linebackers, gosh, not much today. I'm going to go just to C.
Fred Warner had 13 tackles, though. I mean,
yeah, maybe C plus. I'll give
it's a nice number, but
I'm not
a lot of impact plays. C minus.
That's why I gave the defensive line a D, because Warner has 13 tackles because they're running through the defensive front 4.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay. Would you give the linebackers, Los?
C minus.
Okay. Defensive backs.
Incomplete. There wasn't much, it seemed like, right?
Oh, it was complete. I give them a C.
Yeah, I give them a C. I mean, it wasn't
they played better.
It seemed like it was. Yeah.
There wasn't much attention to him.
Right. That's what I was going to say.
I think the tackling all around has to improve.
Yeah, I give him a C as well. Special teams.
Moody missed a field goal, another field goal, made a couple. So punter was not really a factor, so that's another average. That's a C.
C.
I'll give him a B.
Punter, did he have how many punts today? Just one or two?
One, I think.
Let me look. Punts. Where is the punt? San Francisco. He had one punt for 56 yards. I'm going to give. You missed a field goal, so that takes you to an F. If that's all you get, you made all your 4 extra points, so that's an A there. Then you made your next 2 after missing one. I'm going to give the special teams a B minus.
One more thing that I'll point out with the special teams is on kickoffs, Moody didn't allow him to return the ball, which has hurt the Niners in the past. He kicked it out of the end zone, which
I'm going to make it a B, even though he missed that. He missed the first one. He did not miss his next 6 kicks. And I kind of had this game. I thought the Niners would score on 6 of their possessions. Remember I said that last night? And they did. They got 4 touchdowns and 2 field goals.
I want to say all his misses are right.
They are. And it's on the right hash, too.
It's never left. It's always right are his misses.
And
which I think is a little – it's not like good, but at least he's consistently missing.
And they're not misses by far. They're just
like a Buffalo kicker.
Yeah, and you know what? They're not kicks that are tailing at the end. They're straight. He's just not. He needs to aim to the middle. And it's weird.
Coaching.
Oh gosh.
I get a D. They get a D from me.
Defensive line coach gets close, like a D minus, almost an F. Defensive coordinator Wilkes, I'm going to give him a C minus because I think the second half he made some adjustments enough to stop the Lions. The Lions didn't score until
I think the first half was an F and the second half was an A, so I'm going to give him a C.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. Overall C.
You're nice.
You're tough, Los. We're not nice. You're tough.
He's Los, a mean old man.
You're my English teacher from last year.
Bastard. For sure.
All right.
I give him a D because, like Boris said, an F to start, and what brings it down to a D. He's right. They made adjustments and they played well in the second. I wouldn't give him an A. I don't think they
didn't score until the last minute.
Yeah,
of the game.
But some of that was.
Well, you got to give them some credit. I mean, come on.
What brings them to a D for me is what me and Bora discussed. They take a long time to adjust. That's what brings it down.
And the game planning, right? The game plan
was an F. The first half was an F. And the time that it took for them to make adjustments was an F. So that's why I got 3 Fs. And then the second half may have been an A minus. That's a D for me. So they got to be better.
All right. Offensive, Kyle Shanahan. What are we giving Kyle? Let's start with Bora.
That was coaching staff.
I thought we just did the defense.
No. Coaching in general.
Okay. I'm separating them because I think it's 2 different games. I think it's,
I put everything together.
Wilkes has nothing to do with what Kyle does, and Kyle doesn't have a whole lot of say. He does have say, but he, at this point, it's pretty much up to Wilkes. So I'm going to give Kyle. Gosh, what grade do I want to give Kyle? Because the game, I'm going to give Kyle a B minus. I think he came out, was fairly aggressive in the second half. First half, they weren't in rhythm. The defense was getting run over. I thought Kyle was going to go hurry up when the first play, they got big yardage, and then they did a hurry up, no huddle. And I was like, yes, they're going to
the first play of the second half. The first play
and then they stopped.
Yep, exactly. Debo was like motioning him, let's go.
Yeah. I was like, oh, great. We're going to get hurry up, and maybe we get an extra possession out of this game. And,
have we seen a offense at all this entire
what's
year?
that?
Have we seen a hurry up offense?
No, he doesn't practice it.
I don't get it.
He doesn't believe in practicing a no-huddle offense. He's the first coach in maybe 60 years that doesn't practice a no-huddle offense. And if it wasn't for that fluke play to Ayuk and the fumble, Niners are losing this game, and he's getting all kinds of shit. Like, Kyle, you're down 24-7. Hell yeah, I'm going to be hard on him. You're down 24-7 in the NFC Championship game, and you're not running a no-huddle. He got off the hook.
It baffles me. It baffles me. You know, next week.
Nobody will call him out, though. Nobody will say that in the press conference. Nobody will say that because he won. Nobody will challenge him at all.
Niners, I don't know how much practice they do next week.
I don't know if they practice this week. I'd imagine they do.
This is when they get most of their practice in is this week. When they fly to Vegas, they have all the media.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Well, because Wednesday and Thursday, their practice days, pretty heavy rain in Santa Clara. Wait, I did San Francisco. I'm assuming Santa Clara will be the same. Let's see. 98% chance of rain on Wednesday, 90% Thursday, 64% Friday. So I don't know, how hard they practice this week. It's probably a lot of walkthroughs with their plays, but it's not going to be a factor during the game because it's indoor game, the elements, but you kind of hope that they don't have any.
Kyle should call his buddy McVay and ask him if he can borrow SoFi. You're playing in a dome. Practice in a dome. Just like against the Packers, you were going to have wet weather. You should have practiced Purdy with a wet ball. You have to practice in the conditions that you're about to play. You know who practices a two-huddle offense? Andy Reid.
Yep.
He's going to practice that. So if it's a close game, one team's going to be prepared for that. One team won't. Sorry, Grumpy loves. I just demand a lot out of a guy that a lot of people call a genius, right?
Yeah, I would think they would have to have some kind of indoor facility, right?
Kyle he has 2 weeks to change it up, win a Super Bowl, and all is forgiven. But got to do better.
I'm all talked out. I gotta go to bed early tonight. I got school.
Yeah.
Yeah, first day tomorrow, right?
Dan's got to get over to Larry. So,
all right. I don't know where Dan. We'll just go ahead and I guess we'll kill it now. Hey, everyone, go over to Larry's channel. He's going to get ready to go live, talk more 49ers win over the Detroit Lions, 34-31. Hey, I got the score, just the wrong teams.
Hey, good job. You got the score.
I thought it was going to be a high score. I really did.
You didn't get it exactly.
Not exactly. Come on, man. No.
All right, everybody. Bang, bang.
Right. We'll see you. Woo!